Hello, hello to all you life learners, and thanks so much for tuning in. Are you ready to invest in yourself? Do you know how to get engaged in your community? Well, your double yeses will make you want to stay tuned today. So, good day to our YouTube viewers and our audio listeners across all platforms. Thank you and welcome to episode 296 of the Business of Life Masterclass podcast here in season 8. For our listeners and our viewers both, we ask you to please think about the last time you had a good financial and community experience. Since Barb and I are all about creating and appreciating goodness and good vibes, today's episode of the Business of Life Masterclass is on how to bank on community, family, and impact. So hello again, everyone. It's Debbie Lundberg, Performance, Mindset, and Resilience Coach with Presenting Powerfully.
Hi, Barb Zant here, media sales leader and founder of the lifestyle blog and brand, The Stay at Work Mom. Debbie, who is our guest today who can show us ways to really embrace and put good vibes in the bank?
In the bank, yes. Well, Barb, she is a 20 plus year banking veteran who serves as regional vice president at TD Bank, where she leads the commercial and business banking team in Tampa Bay and was recently recognized as a Tampa Bay Business Journal Businesswoman of the Year honoree. So congratulations to her and the other 31 nominees. That's wonderful. She's a devoted volunteer, lending her time to the Tampa Jewish Community Centers and Federation, Tampa Bay Chamber, Tampa Bay, EDC, and the Anti-Defamation League. She also loves to travel and explore new places with highlights including Greece, Croatia, Israel, and St. Lucia. Sounds like quite a travel itinerary. She absolutely treasures family time with her husband, her 2 elementary school age children, and her cockapoo, whose name is Pickles. Now, how cool is that? So please welcome Lindsay August.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the warm welcome. I am so excited to be here with you today.
And welcome, Lindsay. We are excited to have you on as well. And hello to fellow LT15 and alumni. Deb, you're an alumni as well. We would love to hear one more thing from your bio that maybe our viewers and listeners didn't get a chance to hear that is interesting or cool, but just a small tease right now. And we'll hear more about it at the end of our episode.
Okay, absolutely. Well, one thing that surprises many people is that I actually grew up on a horse farm.
Ooh.
I'll leave that with you and
Okay.
we'll get back to it later.
All right. Well, I can't wait to hear more on the horse farm. So you were invited on the Business of Life Masterclass podcast for your ability to get involved in the community with your family and through banking and of course with true engagement. But since you have listened to our podcast, please share briefly what specifically made you want to be on the Business of Life Masterclass.
Great question. And there are a couple of things. And first of all, in my mind, it's all about the people. And you both are women that I've admired for so long. As you shared, Barb, we went through Leadership Tampa together back in 2015. And Debbie, I was thinking back and we met even earlier through one of your LT classmates when you presented an inspirational message to our company. And so I've always admired you a lot. And I absolutely love how you invite interesting local leaders, you ask them great questions, they share their insights, and that you actually put their ideas into practice. And so many of us learn from other people, but don't always take that next step and actually do it.
Thanks, Lindsay. That is one of my favorite parts too. Thank you for your take on the Business of Life Masterclass. But before Debbie gets on our podcast forum, that is our 4 questions. What is one thing that you are excited about in your life now as we are into second quarter?
We are in the second quarter. We're 3 days in. I would say professionally, the thing that I'm probably most excited about is actually one of my volunteer efforts. As you may know, I've been part of the Tampa Bay Chamber Small Business of the Year Awards for 15 years. And this year, I am honored to chair the program. And this is our opportunity to highlight the best of the best small businesses and outstanding leaders in the community. And business owners are so hardworking. They're working on their business. They're thinking about their employees and all of the lives and families that they're impacting. And it's so rare to take a moment for them to take for themselves and to acknowledge them. And as you know, I work with business owners every day at TD Bank. And so I have a passion for helping them and recognizing them. And we are in the midst of this process. It culminates with really like a Business Academy Awards in the fall. And right now we're recognizing those nominees. We have over 400 and we're helping them through that initial application. So I'm incredibly excited about that. And I would say personally, oh, sorry, Barb. I'm going to say personally, as you shared, I love to travel. And so we are in the midst of planning lots of fun summer trips.
Well, that is great. And I love that you are excited about all of our small businesses that fuel our economy and travel. Debbie and I both love to travel as well. But we are excited to hear what would be your one song for your life's walk up music. What would that song be?
It's not an easy one. This was my most recent walk up song. I absolutely love Bruno Mars, and 24 Karat Magic always excites me. Always want to dance when I hear that song.
24 Karat Magic is, you can't not dance, right? I mean, that feels like it. So, well, that's good. And thank you for sharing the Small Business of the Year. It's interesting to hear that because I did write a letter of recommendation for one of the leaders of the year, and I served on the committee for years doing the judging. So thank you for carrying that on. It's such a beautiful, wonderful way. And even for those who do not walk on stage at the end, it's such a good experience for the businesses to really explore and share with their teams. So thank you for doing that.
Absolutely. I'm so glad to hear you were on the committee as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So you know that we have the Business of Life Masterclass Podcast 4. These are the 4 questions we've asked every single guest since podcast 1. Now we've added the life walk up music and what you're excited about, but this is at the heart of what we've been doing for 8 seasons. So are you ready, Lindsay?
I am ready.
Okay. Number 1, what time do you get up in the morning and what is your morning routine that gets your day started right?
So I generally get up at 5:45. I walk downstairs, feed little pickles, and hop on the Peloton. I love Cody Rigsby. It gets me excited in the morning, and I never regret a workout. So after that, I'll get myself ready. I'll get the kids up in the morning and make sure they're doing their part and getting ready for school. We'll all have breakfast, and away we go to start our day.
All right, nice. That's great. Now, Barb will smile through it, but she's not going to love that I'm going to want her to get up and do a Peloton workout in the morning when we follow through. Right.
Sorry, Barb.
Barb's always happy when we have a night owl. And, of course, then that challenges me. So the morning, that sounds great. Number 2, what's something other than that morning routine of getting up and greeting pickles and getting on the Peloton that in addition to this, that you believe if someone would do that, it would set them up for a really good day or way to get their day going?
Well, many years ago, someone that I admire in the business community shared a book with me that you've probably read. It's called The Go-Giver by Bob Berg and John David Mann. And for those who aren't familiar with the book, the concept is to think about when you go about the world, what you can do for others and not what others can do for you. And it's a very short read. It's a very simple concept, but it really has changed the way that I go about my day and my life. And I've always been someone that loved connecting people. I know what it's like to be in a new place. I actually moved to Tampa 21 years ago and didn't know a soul. I also know what it's like to start a career or be in a new position and want to make connections and build relationships. And so that's something that I've always enjoyed doing. And I think that if more people thought about what they could give rather than take, we'd all be more successful. And I'd love to share just a quick story about that. Years ago, I met a new couple that had moved in town from Philadelphia, and they also didn't know anyone. And I invited them to my home with some friends and introduced them in the business community and with my friend group. And probably a year later, my friend told me that every person that was close to her in her life in Tampa Bay was a direct result of an introduction that I made. And that was one of the
Gosh,
best
that's so cool.
feelings. It was one of the best feelings I've had. And it just makes me feel good. And I really do have a passion for connecting people. And actually, I even introduced a couple that has now been married for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
So that's a claim to fame that I love sharing.
It is a claim to fame. Absolutely. Well, in connection, we like to say health is wealth, and that's true, but also your friends are your foundation. So wonderful things that you're doing for others. So thank you for being that connector. That's wonderful. So I'm curious, and I think I know the person who gave you the book. Is it someone who has a real estate company and recently started an insurance company too?
I believe so. I believe so. In the
Okay, so
title insurance business.
is it Holly Tomlin?
No, it was actually Vince Cassidy.
Oh, Vince Cassidy. Okay,
Yeah,
well,
from Majesty Title years ago.
yes, yes, and we know Vince too, so we may want to invite Vince and Holly Tomlin on the show, not together, but it's so funny because I think you and I, because we moved here about the same time you did and didn't know people and probably met both of them the same time. So thank you for not only reminding our listeners and us about the book, but also possibly more people to have on the show. So thank you. All right, number 3, who or what has been the biggest influence on your life, your success, and your continued focus on community and family and your impact? And importantly, Lindsay, what have you done with that influence?
So this was an easy one for me, and that is my mother.
Okay.
She is someone that is probably the most selfless person I've ever known. She gives her time and her resources to the people that she loves, people in need that she doesn't know. And she's just so warm and loving and caring. And she was a single mom for a long time. At the time, I was an only child. My sister was born when I was 11. And so I think that there's a special bond that single parents form with their children.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just someone that I look up to so much and want to emulate. And I think that that is where, my desire to give back really comes from her and my dad. And she also happens to be an artist. She's a true free spirit. We're very different personalities, but through her art, through her paintings and her collage, I don't know if you can see it in the background. I have several on my wall here in my office. But she's always making the world a more beautiful place. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's something that I try to do as well. Not nearly to the level that she does, but in my own way.
In your own way. Well, that's a wonderful application of it and a good reminder to all of us that it doesn't have to be in the exact same format that the influence carries through. You can take it and make it your own. Okay. All right. So number 4, Lindsay, while our series and the master classes that we've had in the past and will have in the future, we are very focused on the positive. At the same time, because we move forward in life with some things that are challenging, what is something from your unique perspective that you notice that if people would stop doing them because it's perhaps creating a negative or pulling them away, that would turn into a positive if they would let it go?
So there's something that I stopped doing about 10 years ago that was life changing for me. I was going through a particularly stressful time. I had had major surgery and I wasn't able to sleep well. And I don't know about you guys, Debbie. I feel like you're an Energizer bunny, so maybe this doesn't apply to you. But for me, I need a good solid 8 hours of sleep every day to really feel my best and like I can conquer the world. And so I was struggling with sleep and with stress. And so someone had recommended to me to turn off electronics an hour before bed and to turn off the TV and stop scrolling on my phone, even stop talking on the phone. And it allowed me to take the time to read, which is something I love to do, but hadn't made time for. for a long time. And then I also added in a self-guided meditation. I had never meditated before. It was something completely foreign to me. And a decade later, I will not go to sleep without a meditation. I personally love the Calm app. I found to be great. There are many wonderful apps and guides out there. But even if it's as short as 3 minutes, it could be longer, 15, 20, 30 minutes. I stick to 10 minutes each night, but it's a way for me to calm my mind. There's so much going on in the world between our work and our families and what's going on in our country and around the world. And so it's just, I found it to be a time of just calmness that allows me to get a good night's sleep and reset from the crazy day that I've had, and set me up for success for the next day. And so whenever someone mentions to me that they are stressed or they're not sleeping or they have anxiety, I said, please, I promise you, just try the meditation. It's life-changing.
Love that. And you know what? That is something, I know Barb's going to talk about the things she's put down, but that's something that I used to, you're right. I mean, I would be 5 hours, 5.5, never an issue. And then now I have, and I use this word intentionally, I have forced myself to sleep for 7 hours. At first, it was challenging. And I kept thinking, well, perhaps my body doesn't need this sleep, perhaps. And I finally am able to do it. And to your point, I do breathing meditation from one of our other guests, but definitely we'll get the 3 minutes to 6 minutes is where I find I can stay in it. And if I go longer, I start thinking, am I going to get through this? So love that. So thank you. And especially thanks for that about sleep, because so often many really successful people like yourself, they pride themselves on not sleeping, and that's just not good for us. So that's a wonderful lesson learned. So thank you so much for answering our podcast 4. And Barb, I see you've probably got your list ready for us.
Oh, yes. I have pages of things that we're going to do. So thank you, Lindsay. I'm super inspired. A couple of things that I wrote down. I did circle Peloton, Debbie. So I have been interested in possibly getting a Peloton since the COVID era. So that is something that we will figure out and work out together. And then I'll order the Go Giver book right away. I love that. A connector, that is great. I also moved here about 21 years ago without knowing a soul, so I can relate. And sleep has been a thing that I am working on. And I am absolutely going to try the 1 hour before bed without electronics. I sleep to Dateline, and it's on the Samsung, but it's the Keith Morrison has a very soothing voice, but my husband is like, Barb, they're murdering people.
Soothing voice, except people are dying.
People are dying, and it's the light. I say bedrooms are for sleeping,
the light. That's
sleeping, and watching TV is not the other one.
Yes, I know. So I look forward to trying the Calm app and reading an hour before bed, because I love to read, and I absolutely will try the meditation at night. So Debbie, your list might look a little bit different, but I think a couple of the things that we're going to try together. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. So we can do Peloton, and we can all chime in on the same rides if we want, which is terrific. And, a lot of times, and our listeners know this, Michael takes Daisy out. So I was thinking, okay, now listen, Daisy is a little bit of a snob though. Pickles sounds like a joy. And I love, love, love Daisy. But she's learned that when I get up, she doesn't even move, because I get up and go run or do whatever I'm doing. So she just waits for Michael. So I may have to wake her up in the morning before we do the Peloton. But I'm in for the meditation. I'm very, very committed to this with the sleep, and love that you brought it up. So absolutely, that'll be great.
And Barb, you're welcome. I think we live close by. You're welcome to come to my house. You can use my Peloton. But one other thing I wanted to comment on, Debbie, about the sleep and the meditation is sometimes all these years later, I don't even listen to all the words, but I've trained my body that when the voice comes on the meditation, that it's time to relax and go to sleep. So don't stress if you can't focus the entire time.
Great. And and I've seen them, like when I had the back issue, I did meditation for that sacrum area, and I did it every single day because I wanted that gone. So you're right. It's just make it happen.
Make it happen. So, Lindsay, that is a great thing to wrap up on. But before we wrap up, I would love for you to elaborate on your growing up at horse farm.
Yes, no, absolutely. It's something that shocks people. For some reason, people always think I'm from New York and I'm a big city girl. But I grew up on a horse farm outside of Jacksonville. My dad always dreamed of having a farm and he loved animals. And so we moved out there when I was 11 years old. It was 70 acres in the middle of nowhere, and it was outside of Jacksonville. And if you know Jacksonville, it is the largest city by square miles in the country. So it's very spread out. And then you add to it living in the boondocks. And so we sort of lived in this la la land outside of town. But it was so neat. We had cattle, we had a pig, we had dogs, cats, a donkey, a pond, we had gardens. It was just a really interesting place to grow up. None of our family or friends had a similar experience, but they all loved to come over and ride horses with us. And I'd feed them before school some days on our dirt road, and it was very idyllic.
Sounds idyllic. And I admit, I thought you were from the city. So I am one of those, and I've known you for a while. So thank you for sharing that story. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really interesting to consider how the difference is. It's wonderful. So now, as we get ready to say goodbye, and we know that Bruno Mars has your walk up music, what would your walk off music be?
I think I'd go with Pharrell Happy.
Okay. That's a tough
Make
one not
everyone
to get
happy and feel
excited.
good, right?
Yes, and I always feel like you have to have a hat on because in the video, I think he had a hat, and I feel like wearing a hat when he does that.
Thank you, Lindsay. That was awesome.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This was a blast. And I look forward to hearing the episode and seeing your 300th episode soon. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. All right, listeners, please know that you can stay connected with Lindsay August on social media under her name. And also, you can find her at TD Bank and find out what they're doing in the community to keep making a difference. Similarly, you can follow Barb and me on Instagram and Facebook at the Business of Life Masterclass. Barb is a stay-at-work mom, and I'm Debbie Lundberg most everywhere. So if you like the insights you heard, please rate us 5 stars. We are committed to providing you with 5-star guests and inspiration, just like Lindsay provided today. So we welcome all of your feedback. As you know, that's how the show has grown and developed beyond the podcast for. So thanks for joining us on this episode of the Business of Life Masterclass, the podcast for successful people embracing every chance to accomplish and experience all you can in business and in life.
Listen, choose, do.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
If you have ever thought, gosh, I'd like a collaborator, I wonder what else I could do, it's likely that the answer is a coach. Hi, I'm Debbie Lundberg, Performance and Mindset Coach with Presenting Powerfully. And if you would like confidential coaching to drive you to the next idea, the next role, or even to figure out your own brand, please reach out to us at Presenting Powerfully, 813-494-4438. Thank you.